within Nigeria that were counted in the census. We all have mothers, we have sisters, we have friends. Nigerian women come in all shapes and sizes. From the little girl who is selling pure water on the streets of Benin, you have the great ones like Dora Akulu, you have the Kutis, you have Okonjo-Iweala, you hear Chimamanda speak, you have the schoolgirl on the streets of Lagos, you have the small Kanuri beauty, and you move on to the beautiful rounded Calabar woman. You go to the east and you see the hard-working Igbo women, and the Niger Delta women with their low-cut and very determined look. Nothing stops them. We've all got something in common. We're all Nigerian women. You have the Benin women. Can I forget my primary constituency? But there is something that comes across when you look at all of these women. How many of these 50% of our population actually achieve their true life potential, and why? Does it seem like when you are a woman in Nigeria, you are already born disadvantaged? Do you sometimes feel that you are a second-class citizen? If you have these thoughts, are they real? Are they imagined? Are you taking things a bit too far? And I thought to myself, our challenges, are they bigger than small rock? Or are they challenges we can step on? I decided that what limits the Nigerian woman can actually be broken down into two broad headings. There are the internal limitations, and then there are the external limitations. And this is really the meat of my talk. I'm going to dwell on this slide. And actually it's the most boring slide, but it's the one that's got everything. Now, the internal limitation and the external limitation are so linked in real life that they form a matrix. There's a zigzag. They actually oscillate from one to the other. And actually, you cannot viably separate them at all. Sometimes. I find that when a girl child is born, there is less happiness where I come from than when a boy child is born. Unknowingly, MTN played this out in one of their adverts. And the very first time I saw that advert, I went, what's happening here? It was an advert about when the mobile phones just came, and the man was talking to his mother or his mother-in-law on the phone, and he said, Mama, it's a boy. And the woman was happy and jumping. And then I said to someone, why was it not a girl in that advert? And they said, oh, Loretta, you're too picky, you're too this. I said, oh, tell me why it was not a girl. 3 months later, a group took MTN to court and that advert was scrapped, just in case you didn't know. So I wasn't the only one thinking there was something not quite right with that advert. The internal issues are going to be very linked to the external issues, so I'm going to oscillate, but I'm going to try and keep it a bit compartmentalized if I can. Internal is self, what is within you, the development of yourself. Who are you? What are you? You are born a girl, so what if you've got a vagina? What's the difference? What makes you feel there's something you cannot do? What reduces your self-confidence? Self-esteem is not the same thing as self-confidence. You can be confident and yet you have no esteem. What do you think of yourself? And when you've got no esteem, how are you going to focus? How are you going to orientate yourself? In what direction are you going to move? If you're not moving or orienting yourself, how are you going to realize yourself? What are your dreams? How are you going to actualize that dream? And if you actualize your dreams, you hit your vision, you become fulfilled. How do you get to self-fulfillment? You see, your internal, yourself, is just, I could go on and go on to 20 points there. But what I want to come across is, who are you? Who is the Nigerian woman? And I've found that over the years, the Nigerian woman is a product of her environment, the external factors. Her social-cultural environment is one of her greatest challenges, whether we like it or not. I've touched briefly on it. You're born a woman, and someone says it's half current in quote where I come from, and I often ask them, what's the full current? They say it's when he's a boy. I'm like, okay, so I'm half a human being, technically, is that what you're saying? And they say, no, but it's just half current. There are places where we come from where women cannot inherit anything because they are women. And technically, the saying goes that they're going to leave their houses, their father's houses, and they're going to get married. So they don't need to inherit anything. Now, take a case scenario of where a man dies young and his daughters, who are 10 or 15, are left, often maybe in a polygamous home, and those daughters do not get any inheritance. How are they going to become educated? What is their academic future? And without education, how are they going to become liberated? And if they are not liberated, how are they going to ever become financially independent? So can you see that all those external factors, I can't even separate them. They are so linked. Take a case scenario of a girl who is born. She's growing up in an environment where every other woman believes that she has to act and behave in a particular way. In fact, I was telling Emma this evening that when I was growing up, my mom often used to tell me, please, my daughter, do not read too much. You see, if you read too much, you won't find a man who will marry you. They are going to say you've read so much, you are going to cover the pot of soup with your certificate. And then I'll say, Mommy, why does a man need to marry me? Why actually do I need to be married? She says, no, it's in the Bible. You see, religion has come in now. It's in the Bible. It says that a man will leave his father's house, and then she will quote that part of the Bible for me. I say, okay. Yes, but it doesn't say in the Bible that I have to do that at the expense of myself and loss of identity. She said, what's that? So in essence, what I'm saying is we are being raised in a particular way where we come from. But the world is changing and we have to change with the times. And now the Nigerian woman steps out of this cocoon where she's raised in and is expected to come and compete in the global environment. The global horizon is completely different from where you are coming from. So if we keep raising our girls in a particular manner, we are going to shortchange them in the scheme of things as the world gets bigger and the play gets more intense. If you are raising daughters to be seen and not heard, if you are raising daughters that you want not to read past a particular level because you, in quote, have not seen women go beyond that level, you are restricting your girls. I remember the first time my mom saw a woman drive around. She was like, how can a woman just be driving this long vehicle? And I said to her, Mommy, there is nothing a woman cannot do. I bet ask the brain surgeons in the house, is there any difference between the brain of a man and the brain of a woman?
No.
There is no anatomical difference between the brain of a man and the brain of a woman. And for goodness sake, if we know that that is what it is, why don't we begin to put our brains to use? But no, those limitations are there, the cultural limitations, the social limitations are there. And then you find out that at the end of the day, it's So when 50% of your population are women, and more than half of those people are not educated to start with, because they've been shortchanged from the very beginning, then there's a problem. Even in our homes, we raise our boys very different from our girls. We tell the girls, please go and make food for your brother. What happened to the brother's hands? What is wrong if the brother goes to make food for the sister? I met a lady once who said, my boys don't cook. That's what she told me. And I said, really? Why don't they cook? And I meet people who say, oh, those are not toys for girls, they are toys for boys. When you begin to raise children in a way that you are already demarcating, as it were, you're actually demarcating their life. You are creating a problem. We have women. Don't get me wrong. Some of my friends often tell me, Loretta, we don't really know where you stand. But I think what we need to realize is that our women, where we come from, need to own their identities. You don't need to be getting things on the merit of whose daughter you are, whose sister you are, or whose wife you are. And don't get me wrong, I'm not denouncing the institution of marriage. I've been married for going to 15 years. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you do not live all your life and say, oh, I want to marry one man. That is what you are being groomed to do. There is life beyond that marriage. You should first be something. You should empower yourself. You should strive to move forward. You should not think, and I'll say this to our women folk here today, do not think that because you are a woman you have any limitations. In fact, it's an advantage. And do not think that you have to dress in a particular way. I had a cousin, actually, not even a friend. I had a cousin who, when she was going to her supposed mother-in-law's house before she got married, she would go and wear these very long skirts. And then she would go there. But that is not what she truly likes to wear. Now, you see, what our social cultural environment does is that it makes us actually deceive ourselves so much, we start believing the deceit. You start living a double life. You can't be who you want to be. You can't be yourself. You know, you are going somewhere, maybe you are dressed in a particular manner, you see your pastor and you start hiding. Be who you are. And at the end of the day, I see Nigerian men tell me, why do Nigerian girls always frown? You say hello to them and they are frowning. I said, well, you've created the limitations for these women, and you absolutely cannot come and slag them off in front of me. Because where we come from, if you smell as a man, you are wayward. That's what you are told. If you initiate a conversation with the male sex, it's seen as being too loose. Some of us have been there, we've had tags, we've had names, but what I'm saying is, don't let these things restrict you. Go beyond these things. Have a dream and please pursue it. Be who you want to be. The people who are going to make the difference are not going to be the Nigerian fairies. No, they don't exist. It's going to be you and I, the average Nigerian woman from any part of Nigeria, living in any part of the world. And goodness me, when you see your sister falling by the wayside, give her a hand. I always say it, men have been my greatest friends and greatest helpers all my life. And I resolved that I would reach out a hand to my fellow women. There is no harm in giving your fellow woman a helping hand. There is no harm in leading them and saying, oh, this is the pathway, this is where we should go. But you must first empower yourself. You must first look for how to go beyond these challenges, and one of them is have a focus. Don't listen to what anybody else is saying. Go on your path, and you will be there. The road may be long, it may be lonely, but definitely the average Nigerian woman, us working as a team, will get there and surmount all the limitations. Great people don't see limitations, they see challenges, and they believe that they can surmount them. So, I'm proudly Nigerian, any day, anytime, and God bless Nigeria.
Amen.